Hi everyone, my name is Tiana. My teammates are Kaylin, Melanie, and Kayla. We're from Team 5, and today we're going to be talking about depression intervention for UH Hilo. Today we're going to be talking about depression in UH Hilo. We'll give some background information and talk about some interventions we're hoping that students can benefit from. Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest that can make day-to-day activities feel troublesome. The DSM-5 manual refers to depression as major depressive disorder or clinical depression, affecting how a person feels, thinks, and behaves, which could lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. The University of Hawaii at Hilo registers a variety of ethnic students from around the nation as well as foreign countries. Although Hawaii is the biggest melting pot in the world, many students can still feel out of place because of their own personal traditions, origins, and differences. This is especially true for international students that don't speak very good English and have a hard time adapting to a new society. This is problematic because these conditions can lead to a higher risk for these students to become depressed. Signs and symptoms of depressions may include sadness, anxiousness, emptiness, hopelessness, feelings of guilt, worthless, helpless, irritable, restless. You lose interest in the activities you used to enjoy doing. You have lack of energy. You have problems concentrating or making decisions. You may experience disturbances in your sleep patterns. You may experience loss of appetite or eating too much. You may experience thoughts of suicide or even have attempted suicide. You experience aches, pains, headaches, cramps, or digestive problems that do not go away. Although Hawaii is the biggest melting pot in the world, many students can feel out of place because of their own personal traditions, origins, differences, and culture. This is especially true for international students that don't speak English very well and have a hard time adapting to a new society. This is problematic because these conditions alone can lead to a higher risk for these students to become depressed. There are a variety of causes such as genetics, environment, and life experiences, but the stresses of college also play a big factor. These include living away from family for the first time, missing family and friends, feeling alone or isolated, experiencing conflict in relationships, facing new and sometimes difficult schoolwork, or worrying about finances. American College Health Association surveyed 95,761 students from 137 institutions. Depression ranked as the fourth leading cause of academic impairments amongst 31 other causes. Impairments to academic performance includes low grades on exams and important projects, receiving lower grade in the course, received an incomplete or dropped the course altogether, or experience a significant disruption in thesis, dissertation, research, or practicum work. Major depression can become detrimental if it's not treated as the person becomes aware of it, and it can lead to serious self-harm, including suicide attempts and suicide. In 2014, suicide was ranked the second leading cause of death in people ages 15 to 34, which describes the average ages of currently enrolled college students.
So the aims of our intervention were to create awareness of depression, how to treat depression, and how to make students feel more comfortable in new environments. Freshmen, not just thinking about freshmen entering from high school, but also people entering from different situations, such as taking a break or people of older age returning to school. So first-time freshmen is what we're aiming to look at. The transition can be very difficult for them because it's a whole new different environment, whole new different people, and whole new different workload. So it's a mixture of a lot of things that they haven't experienced yet. Upperclassmen, on the other hand, are also susceptible to having depression because of their workload, which is a lot more heavier than freshmen, and then their upcoming graduation. And then for graduates, they have to focus on their thesis, dissertation, research, and practicum work, which can be really draining. UH-Law offers some services that can help depression, such as relaxation stations and counseling services. But the downfalls to that are that there are unfamiliar people, social stigmas, and many students are unaware if they're depressed. Also, they might not know how to utilize counseling services or the relaxation station. So the first part of our intervention targets freshmen because freshmen are students who are most vulnerable to become depressed early in their college years. So the first part of our intervention would be to distribute optional surveys to students in introductory courses in their respective field of study. Our first part of our intervention would consist of a survey targeted primarily at freshmen because it's being given at introductory level courses. The survey would include Beck's Depression Inventory, which is a 21-item self-report rating inventory that measures characteristic attitudes and symptoms of depression. So we could tell which students have depression, and then students could also determine if they have depression and figure out whether or not they want to pursue getting it treated or not. We'd also have open-ended questions, such as write about your deepest thoughts and feelings about coming to college. This helps provide us as a way to look into how they're thinking and if it's in a depressive mindset or not. And there's been studies that tell that students who use more possessive nouns such as I are usually more depressed than others. And then we could have a follow-up at the end, which would leave a comment box at the end for students to write whether they would want extra support or not, and if they feel overwhelmed, they can contact us. The second part of our intervention would be study halls, where students can become a group and make more friends to feel more comfortable. We could provide different times and locations to accommodate a variety of student schedules. So there can be study halls in the morning. That's when students are most alert and awake, and it could be held at library sessions, so students can be more focused on their work. There could be afternoon study halls, which offer more bonding time with other classmates. And it's proven that being outdoors and feeling sunlight on your body helps depression symptoms. So places like the campus center can provide more of a leisurely conversational study hall where students can eat and enjoy the weather and talk about their studies together. And then we could have night study halls where it can be located at dorm room halls such as Hale Ikena. Late night study partners and can accommodate small exercise events like stretching or moving around to help students stay more awake and healthier instead of just straight studying all the way. Our third part of our intervention would be to utilize informational booths and flyers. This can help to raise awareness of depression. So we could advertise next to the relaxation stations, or we could have different scheduled times throughout the hardest part of the semester, which is usually midterms and finals. We could provide brochures which give information on depression and its symptoms, causes, and its effects, which can become pretty detrimental. It could be staffed by upperclassmen or volunteers who have experienced depression or anxiety and have recovered and feel comfortable with talking about their experiences. This can help build connections with underclassmen and with each other. Flyers can be put up on walls, and especially in bathrooms, because I've noticed that bathroom talks usually work a lot, since people quite often go to the bathroom, and looking at the door you can see a lot of information posted on there. So it provides crucial information about counseling and health services. The fourth part of our intervention would be to make social media groups. Usually students mask their shyness across social media because it gives them a platform where they don't have to show their face or their feelings to other people. College students commonly display emotion alone through status updates like on Facebook or posts on Instagram and Snapchat. And students are more likely to discuss their depressive symptoms to friends that give online reinforcement. On social media, we can create online groups where students can interact with each other, such as Facebook groups, where students can get together for their specific majors, such as psychology majors of UH Hilo. This offers more of a 24-hour support system through fast and easy connections without having to meet up face-to-face. Facebook offers messages, which is a way to chat with each other privately. And Snapchat also has it, but they also have a feature where people can talk to each other live, like FaceTime or Skype, which provides also another better way to interact with each other and can utilize things like tutoring others or getting help with seeing what's the problem instead of just talking over the phone. For international students, we could have each intervention listed above accessible to them, but we would need to provide it in different languages and have people that can communicate with them. Study halls can be specialized just for international students, but we could also offer study halls with mixed demographics, so students from the States and from the college mixed together and from international colleges. So it can provide more of a different experience, so they don't have to just be singled out to their international ethnicity. So it opens up a better communication and bonding system between students. Upperclassmen and graduates can also utilize these interventions explained above, but we could specialize it for graduates and upperclassmen as well. Some of the social psychological terms that can be used to explain our intervention would be social support through surveys, which provides students with the chance to determine whether they are suffering from depression, and giving them contact information to help them relieve depression would be our deal. So we could give them social support in that way by offering them a way to combat their depression and a way to find out if they have depression or not, because many students aren't aware of the symptoms and how it's caused and what the effects are. The proximity attraction principle would be used at study halls. Students are more likely to become friends with those they live nearby. So helping bring students within the same major closer together through study halls can really help them make better bonds and make new friends, since most students are living in dorms and they're living close to each other and doing the same major, so it could open a lot of gates through that. That's not all technique can also be used in study halls. We could advertise study halls by sweetening it up, such as nighttime study halls, where we can offer free food and coffee, so more students are more likely to come by. And then shyness. We could break shyness by using informational booths and social media groups. It can help combat shyness of underclassmen by providing upperclassmen or volunteers who can relate to them. So in the end, we can evaluate if our intervention works, mostly through doing surveys. So we can survey the same students that we did in the beginning, if they are willing to take another survey, and ask how they are currently doing compared to how they were doing before taking any of our intervention steps. One of the steps you could also look at is how many students visited before our intervention and after intervention, looking at counseling services and health room checkups. So if more students visited either, awareness would be raised, and we could go more in depth and see if it's possible to know how many students went in to treat depression, if possible, or if they are able to disclose that. Nothing more personal. Study halls, we can look at gathering students' thoughts on how these groups help them. So we could have them right before they join a study hall or are thinking about joining a study hall, and then after. We could ask questions like, how confident are you about schoolwork? Or do you have a social support group? Before and after the intervention, and then we could compare the two. Informational boots would be cross-examined with counseling and health services, because informational boots help lead students to contact information about counseling support or where to go for depression symptoms. And then for social media, we can monitor chats by seeing how much support is given, and then the interactions between students utilizing these social media groups, and then how confident they are. And also we could have them do a poll or survey saying how efficient or non-efficient these social media groups are into helping them improve their academic life and experience.